turning into an Arceus V, which, some Charizard players do play. And, oh, just like that, there is in the active. That means I would have loved to get that Dragonite. And let's get round 6 started. Zeryx.
Absolutely. Oh,
Zeryx.
Starting very familiar here with that Battle VIP pass for Zeryx here, starting off this turn, and it's going to be that Arceus V as well, starting in the active position here for Zeryx. So we've talked about Charizard EX in the lounge. We talked about it here sitting next to each other, but getting into Charizard EX in general as a deck, how would you describe how this deck plays? It's good matchups, maybe the specific list. Go for it, Wancho.
It's a lot of stage 2s.
It sure is, yeah.
We talk about some decks that are their own worst enemies. Sometimes that is exactly what Charizard is. If you can't find your rare candy into Pidgeot, rare candy into Charizard, not only that, you have to worry about when you rare candy into those Pokemon. If Path to the Peak is in play, they don't work out anyway. But if you can set up, you are paid off with, again, the Quick Search Pidgeot, one of the most, it's a very, very broken ability back in 2004, 2006, and a very broken ability as well here in 2023. Just being able to find any card you want from the deck, why not? And of course, Charizard EX with the Infernal Rain ability. That means you get to accelerate energy from your deck to 3 fire energy from your deck to any of your Pokemon, setting yourself up and being the main attacker as well. Burning Darkness, 180 damage, but does 30 extra for each prize card your opponent has taken. But either way, 180 is big. You're a Dark-type Pokemon, you hit Mew VMAX for weakness, you hit Gardevoir EX for weakness. It's a pretty good Pokemon, but set up first.
Yeah, set up first, and things, can go sour real quick, especially in this matchup. You have those low HP Pokemon that you play, all of them out on the field, and I correct myself, it's not just the cute Pidgey. Like, all those cards are the cute versions. Zeryx coming out here with some very fashionable Pokemon TCG cards. We love to see different arts being displayed on our stream. But now we are over onto Sujith's side of the field, starting with the Battle VIP pass as well. But on paper, Charizard can almost be heavily exploited by any sort of Lost Box list. If they can consistently target down your Charmander, target down even your Pidgey, your low HP Pokemon, and really deny you an initial setup, things can get really sticky real quick. But both of these players are 5-0 here in Pittsburgh, so I believe in both of their abilities, and I'm sure they've already ran into some interesting situations throughout this tournament, so we'll see how this chooses to go. Zeryx is a very successful Charizard player so far. Let's see if he can maintain that.
Boo, I just want to point something out real quick, though.
Go for it.
Do you see something lacking on Zeryx's side of the field? A Manaphy. And your main attacker is a Charmander, and you have a Pidgey. And if Sujith can somehow turbo out, I'm a very idealistic type of player. If you can somehow get 7 cards into the Lost Zone turn 1, Moonlight Shuriken this turn, I'm pretty sure you just win.
I mean, it's turbo, right?
Yeah, it's turbo for a reason. I mean, you have those Lost Vacuums, Chorus's Experiment. Wow.
Flower Selectings.
I believe that was a Town Store as an option for Sujith. I love that addition into the Lost Box deck. Again, Town Store, you're able to find any tool card, I believe, from the deck. And looking at Sujith's deck, something interesting, I'm sure everyone got a peek of it. He's playing 2 types of Seal Stones, the Forest and the Sky Seal Stone. Very interesting.
Unfortunately, it's going into Lost Zone now. But we also identified that there's a ton of Pokemon in the prize cards as well. Those targets for the Forest Seal Stone as well. But I believe it was between a Water Energy and the Town Store. The Water Energy went to the hand. Comfey now going into the Lost Zone with that Town Store. Comfey just going to the market, I suppose. Lost Zone up to 2 now for Sujith. But yeah, that Radiant Greninja, at least at this point in time, is pretty scary, but there needs to be a lot of things to happen here for Sujith, and it's only the first turn here. But Cramorant is going to be coming down onto the field off of that Nest Ball, allowing you to search out a basic Pokemon from your deck, of course. Did we get a look at the hand at all, Wancho, for Sujith?
Again, you mentioned earlier the Water and Energy in hand. Just multiple energies in hand. They have a Beach card. You have a couple ways to switch, but most importantly, they don't have a Chorus just yet. Again, Oh, have they already concealed cards? I believe they have. So this is an attack here, is it? Oh, with the... Yeah, you play the beach court, retreat, play the lost vacuum, and just like that, four cards into the lost zone, take a knockout on that man. Take a knockout on the Mew.
Yeah, sequencing there, paying off here. 4 cards, unlocking that Spit Innocently thanks to the Lost Provisions ability on that Cramorant. So free attack, no energy needed. That Cram took down that little Mew before it could get off the ground.
Real quick though, Chorus Experiment played by Zeryx, and it's just a ton of supporters and a switch. Was that a scoop?
Manaphy is prized.
From Zeryx?
Yeah, it looks like it was, because again, there was nothing playable.
I think Zeryx said, wait, was the Manaphy prized?
Yeah, it looks like
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, I believe
the prize cards aren't loading.
I believe Manaphy was prized. I believe that was a concession there. Again, they just didn't have it. They couldn't even get an Arceus. That was the only thing I believe they really needed. Arceus V-Star, get access to that Starbirth. That means you can at least rare candy into either your Pidgeot or rare candy into at least Charizard and have something set up. But from that position where you didn't really get anything off your Chorus, it was literally 2 Chorus, 2 Boss's Orders, and a Switch. Yeah. Nothing you can use.
Well, that was the thing too. I think as soon as Zeryx realized Manaphy's in the prize cards, there's only one in the deck. You just know that Radiant Greninja, even if it didn't get off that turn, it is going to be completely exploiting those low HP Pokemon you have. If not then, if they're able to, evolve out with those rare candies and such, it would be later in the future. And if you have no way to block that, maybe Zeryx was just, I don't know, thinking, let's jump into another game here. So Sujith's going to take the first game here. We didn't get to watch very much Pokemon be played, but I'm excited to hopefully get a deeper into a game 2 between these players here.
I would be absolutely heartbroken, Boo, if you don't see a Charizard EX off this Charizard EX game.
Yeah, that would be quite sad for sure. But honestly, I feel like that's how Miraidon started. When Miraidon first came into the meta. It never performed well on stream, so that might be what happens to Charizard EX. But I don't want to speak too soon here.
I believe here.
Anything wild in these prize cards that you see, Wancho?
A couple of Colorless Experiment for both players. Yeah. Nothing else of note. More importantly, what is on the field right now against Sujith, again, just with the lone Sableye. That's not a Comfey, but let's see what Zeryx has in store for us. Does play the Ultra Ball. There's a Charizard. They're playing the very, very pretty Charizard as well. Let's see what they can get. Probably find themselves an Arceus V if I had to guess. Let's see. They're going through the deck, doing a quick deck search. And Arceus V just unlocks the world for this deck, especially when you depend on 2 different types of stage 2s. It just seems like such a necessity. They could even find themselves maybe a Mew here if they're trying to go for a Battle VIP pass. But yeah, straight up Arceus V. Let's see if they have anything else in store. So an attachment would be nice as well, because then you could potentially at least even Power Edge or Trinity Nova the next turn. But let's see.
It's just going to be a pass, so we at least have a Pidgey down, Arceus V down, and a Charmander down for Zeryx. We're over onto Sujith's side of the field, Sableye in the active position. We do see the Battle VIP pass as well as in hand for Sujith. So that is going to be played immediately. Sujith's going to get a chance to look through this deck here and not only kind of keep track of resources, but also bring out some Pokemon and start things going with the Lost Zone. We do have to reset that Lost Zone counter because this is our new game here, starting at 0, but I'm sure Sujith wanted to get into that 4 for sure.
Why
on this
not?
Turn.
4 for free?
Yeah, 4 for free, and I mean, that's huge. We saw that even in the last game, just getting that lead, Zeryx scooped completely, knowing that that was enough of a lead to maybe just not be able to catch up from, and
100%.
It was very, very fast for sure.
Yeah, you're playing against Lost Box, right? We saw it from the last game where it's almost impossible to really finish out 3 games. Okay. So, Zeryx giving themselves the best possible opportunity to win 2 games here, just with the early scoop, as we see Sujith just getting themselves a Comfey and the Radiant Greninja. Whenever I see the Radiant Greninja and this type of board, I just keep thinking, it's possible.
Yeah.
You could go for the Moonlight Shuriken, knock out the Pidgey and the Charmander, and there's not even an energy attachment on the Arceus. That means they don't get an attack at all next turn, potentially. With their hand, though, they do have a Colress Experiment, so there is a way, but we're starting off with a Moonlight Shuriken first. Oh, not Moonlight. Concealed Cards, excuse me.
Well, that would be wild. Moonlight Shuriken, whoa. Yeah, it's just going to be that Concealed Cards, allowing you to discard a basic energy and draw 2 cards into a Colress's Experiment now. So we're at least going to see 2 of these cards off of this 5 go into the Lost Zone here for Sujith, and 3 to the hand.
Yeah, Manaphy looks like an easy choice for the last one, though. I'm not quite sure what I would send to the Lost Zone. But something of note, there's no Battle VIP pass, right? So what they have to work with right now is Swan Compe. Looks like it's going to be the Escape Rope being sent to the Lost Zone there. Let's see what else they can do. They do have a switch card, so they can get the Sableye out of the active and start picking or selecting some flowers. There's a Nest Ball. Again, Nest Ball allows you to find yourself any basic Pokemon. It's going to be another Compe, because that's pretty important in this deck. So with that, with the Compes in on board, plus the amount of switch cards, Sujith should be able to get to 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Just what attacker are we going with? Let's see here. Again, they have a couple of switches. I don't see a Cramorant just yet. Again, would love to see a Battle VIP pass, potentially. Let's see. Sujith here just really planning their turn out. Looks like it's going to be a switch card into that Compe. First flower selecting of this game sends the Lost Vacuum to the Lost Zone. I believe that was another switch card. There's a Cramorant at the very least. So at the very least, this Cramorant should be able to take a knockout on the Pidgey. Do we have another switch card? Ooh, I see the Shopping Mall in hand.
Ooh, the shopping mall. We're going shopping here, one. All right, so Sujith able to get 4 cards into the Lost Zone here. Cramorant coming out.
Yeah, it looks like.
Oh, that's the town store.
Yeah, town store.
Yeah, you said shopping mall. Oh, wait, shopping mall is a car though, isn't it?
Is it really? Oh, well, they're both shopping places.
Shopping center,
So-
yeah. That's what I thought you were talking about. I was like, what? It's
Town store, okay.
Watch, you get confused here. No, my Cramorant here, popping in to the active position. Lost Provisions, unlocking that Spit innocently, which is taking out that Pidgey, wiped off the board, unfortunately, here. It was not the Arceus V that could tank a hit from that Cram. It was just the small Pidgey. So that is off the field now, not going to be able to evolve into that Pidgeot, but Charmander still on the field here. And now joining us is Arceus V-Star as well. And this is where you at least see the Charizard EX deck start to function here. Starbirth being activated right away. You can only use 1 V-Star power per game. Zeryx using it right now to enable his hand with 2 of any cards from the deck, and very, very common to see this rare candy into a Charizard EX and diving straight into that Infernal Rain. Brand new ability, brand new Pokemon. We're seeing it first time here on the stream.
Yeah, very, very powerful ability. Again, able to accelerate 3 fire energy onto any of your Pokemon. It looks like it's going into the Arceus V-Star. Arceus V-Star must be very confused at this point, because normally I'm the one accelerating energy to my other Pokemon.
Who is you? Well, it's wild because they work in tandem, right? You accelerate there and then accelerate back. That's pretty wild.
No, but unfortunately, Arceus V-Star can only attach energy to Pokemon V.
Oh, yes, that's fair. Actually, good point there. That is, oh my gosh, that's even like the special Arceus V-Star as well. All the arts here coming out. We are going to see an Iono here as well from Zeryx.
Yep.
So
very good Iono. Again, 0 card hand into Iono. Could only get better if they play the research instead, but let's see what else they have in store. It looks like Nest Ball. At this point, I wonder, do you set up a second Charizard? Do you still try and set up a Pidgey, or do you try and set up another Charizard potentially?
Yeah, I guess that's going to be the option here for Zeryx, seeing what is more important. I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have both, but just the nest ball here, only going to be able to search out.
I like this.
One, it's actually the basic. It's any basic Pokemon, so Arceus V is going to be that option.
I really, really like this play. Again,
Just
if they
setting up attackers.
Yeah, because if Zeryx opted to find something like a Pidgey or a
Look at that.
Charmander, you could potentially just, it's a 60 HP Pokemon. That's going to get knocked out easily. But now, the board is so scary. Arceus V-Star, Arceus V, Charizard EX, 330 HP, 220, 280. Those are not easy knockouts.
Yeah, and I love that too. We were talking about how Arceus V-Star does only accelerate to V Pokemon. Guess what? Arceus V is V Pokemon. So working in tandem there, both the Charizard EX using its ability to accelerate energy as well as that Arceus V-Star. So that is awesome. Another prize card being taken on this field. Zeryx this time taking it, tying up the prize race. Currently, we're over onto Sujith's side of the field here now, starting off with the Culver's Experiment after that quick concealed cards. Let's see if any of these options of these cards help out Sujith's hand at all, but that's a lot of energy.
A lot of energy indeed. Again, they just have to start swinging here. Something to note, I mean, Sujith could still use something like a Moonlight Shuriken, do 90 damage to both Arceus V. But the nice thing here is Charizard EX is a Terra-type Pokemon. Terra-type Pokemon, when on the bench, they are protected from damage. So you can't Moonlight Shuriken that Charizard any longer. So the best attacker here would definitely be something like the Sableye. But again, this is math. This is a lot of damage on the board. 280 plus 330 plus another potentially 280. Can you do that amount of damage with 5 turns left in the game? I think you can in this Turbo Lost Box deck, but you're going to need your Dragonites.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to need the Dragonites. You're going to keep having to stack up these Lost Zone cards into your Lost Zone, unlocking all of these cards in your deck. Now we are up to 7, though, so Mirage Gate is online here. Dragonite V is in the hand as well for Sujith. I already see it. We still have the potential for that Forest Seal Stone as well being an option.
Oh, I think something that could come up is they could even use the Sky Seal Stone with the Dragon in combination with Dragonite V. You have to set up the damage first, though, with the Sableye, or potentially go for a Boss's Orders, because then you take multiple prizes. Again, if you use the Sky Seal Stone on a V-Star Pokemon, you're taking an extra prize card. That fixes it up, where you just have to take knockouts on 2 Pokemon instead of 3.
That would be absolutely wild, and that might be what potentially happens here for Sujith down the line. Maybe not, though. Forest Seal Stone is going to come down, and it is going to be that Forest Seal Stone. There's a 1-1 line. There's a Forest Seal Stone and 1 Sky Seal Stone. So you do have the options there, but Sujith opting to use the Forest Seal Stone as the 1 V-Star Power Star Alchemy. Of course, the ability being used for this game. So Sky Seal Stone off the table here.
Yep. There we go. Forest Seal Stone, half a star birth. You know what? You got 2, I get 1. That is fine. 1 is all I need. Looks like they are going to find themselves the Mirage Gate, and they're going to be able to take a knockout on this Arceus V before it turns into an Arceus V-Star at the very least. The scary thing is here, though, I believe Sujith is going to be able to take a knockout on Arceus. That means Sujith's going to go down to 3. Oh, but the Charizard does not have energy. And there's no other Charmander in play to accelerate energy onto that Charizard. I think they missed an energy attachment last turn because, again, Burning Darkness would have been enough to take a knockout on the Dragonite here. But without something like a Choice Belt, Zeryx could potentially miss out on a KO this turn. And that'd be very bad against Lost Zone.
Oh, yeah, very bad indeed. Neither of these players want to fall behind here in any of these lines, but Sujith now just has a fully powered up Dragonite V here. And of course, still a decent hand as well from what I see for these future turns. Still has the ability to conceal cards, to draw into some more cards here and kind of start stacking up the hand even more. But the biggest thing here is that Dragonite V is not just swinging, but it is taking a knockout here for Sujith, allowing him to draw 2 more prize cards, going down to only 3 left to take this win. And I totally forgot too, Wancho, because the game 1 went so fast. Sujith's already leading as well. So Sujith, once he takes another win, that's 2-0 victory. Game is wrapped up here. So Zeryx needs to be able to respond to this, and guess what? One way to do that is definitely an Iono here. Both players going to shuffle their hands. It's going to go to the bottom of their deck, and then they're each going to draw a card for each of their prize cards. Of course, Sujith has just gone down to 3, so only 3 cards for the option there. And there were a lot of energy cards in the hand as well there, so maybe not drawing into an energy to be able to use that concealed cards.
Yeah, great equalizer, and that was the perfect draw out of the Iono, because 200 damage, not enough. Add 30 to that, though, because there's no DTE on the Arceus. It's fully a full 230 damage, enough to knock out that Dragonite. Okay.
Swings for swings here. Zeryx coming back strong, taking a knockout, 2 prize cards off of that Dragonite V. The choice belt was all that was needed. We're so used to seeing Arceus V-Star being nerfed by that double turbo, but like you said, Wancho, in this deck, in this build, it's just basic energy. That means it has the full capability of its attack, and with the choice belt, that is just enough damage there for that Dragonite V to go down. So this means we're tied up now. 3-3 prize cards for both of our players. Sujith going to start off this turn with a flower selecting. Let's see what's making its way into the Lost Zone. Looks like an easy choice. Nest Ball going into the Lost Zone for that water energy. So that could be used here for Sujith.
Yeah, they could draw 2 extra cards by discarding that water energy. And I'm just doing math in my head now. I don't think it's possible to take 3 prizes fast enough with 330 HP, 280 HP to deal, right?
You're telling me this turbo is not turbo enough?
They're going to need another Dragonite. But if they put down another Dragonite, they're giving up 2 prize cards.
The pressure's starting to mount here.
I believe here, just checking what Charizard EX does. Does require 2 energies, I guess, if Zeryx misses out on an attachment. That could be something for sure. But again, the best thing Sujith can do is probably use Lost Mine this turn, set up damage for potentially a knockout with hopefully Dragonite. Because again, you put 30 damage onto the Arceus, bringing it up to 250. But then, yeah, put 30 on the Arceus, maybe then the rest onto Charizard. But again, you can't Dragonite back to back. Both these Pokemon can knock you out. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. The choice belt was such a difference maker. If Zeryx wasn't able to draw into that and they just hit into the Dragonite for no prize, I believe that would have been the end of the game. I believe it would have been firmly in the Lost Zone control. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be Mirage Gate attaching a water energy and a lightning energy onto the Greninja. But yeah, that only hits the Arceus.
Yeah, that is rough because of that nice Terra power there on that Charizard. Greninja is only going to be able to swing on that Arceus V-Star, but that's the only attacker currently online here.
Never mind, but if it's in the active.
It's in the active, yes. Oh my gosh, was that the escape rope here?
Yes.
Yeah, escape rope, only one option here for Zeryx to bring up, and it's going to be that Charizard EX. So now that Moonlight Shuriken can actually hit both of these Pokemon. That is huge here for Sujith. So still getting a ton of damage on the board here, and Zeryx has to be able to respond, is going to have that energy attachment at a minimum.
Yes, that means this Charizard, again, Burning Darkness, more than enough to take a knockout on the Greninja. But something I have to point out now, there is a window of opportunity here for Sujith. That was the exact play they needed to get back into the game. They needed to damage both the Pokemon here, and they were able to do that, 90 to both. They can set up the Dragonite somehow. If they can find themselves maybe a Clara plus Mirage Gate, knock out the Charizard, but you also have to combine that with a Lost Vacuum to get rid of the one-of choice belt. And I believe then that could potentially be checkmate.
Oh my gosh. Wancho, things are going wild here.
Is that
in this game, a Radiant Serena coming down onto the field here.
Not something I was expecting in the Charizard deck, but again,
a grass Pokemon?
I mean, a Charizard EX isn't a deck that has been established in the metagame. That means people are trying different things. And Radiant Serena, I think that changes the
That
map
fixed the
quite
map.
a lot.
So yeah, Elegant Heal, that ability on that Radiant Serena, allowing you to heal your Pokemon 20, heal all of your Pokemon 20 damage off of them, and both of those Pokemon were heavily damaged here. So if all of those damage counters continue to dwindle down, wow, didn't expect that to pop out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was especially big because the play I was just explaining,
Yeah.
it's not possible anymore. 70 damage on the Charizard EX means you have 260 HP. 10 HP is the world. And just like that.
That's it. That was the game changer there. Radiant Serena comes down there for Zeryx, and that was absolutely the game changer, completely changing the math here, surprising everybody, including us. And Sujith is just going to scoop it up. We're going to a 1-1 between these players in this match here. Into another game, and we still have 24 minutes left on the clock.
This is something you don't expect when you're playing against Lost Box, right? Wait, I have more time?
I know, right?
But again, that's the strategic concession, or very early concession in the first game. But yeah, glad to see the Charizard EX really show off its power. Again, just being able to find, typically you think of, they only play one of Choice Belt. They only play the one of Serena. They play a couple of tech cards. Typically, you can find them if you have the Pidgeot. So I totally understand the deck choices there, in the deck building anyway. But I want to see how Sujith now is going to be able to adjust their game plan. But again, huge heads up. Again, I love the setting up 2 Arceus Vs plus the Charizard, just saying that, hey, I have a lot of HP. Come at me.
Come at me. Yeah, that was awesome for sure. You know, I've been talking so much about how your deck can potentially be exploited, but we really didn't see much of that there. Still, Sujith had the answers for these turns and was playing very optimally, but then once that Radiant Serena came out onto the field, a lot of things changed here. So I'm excited to see how the initial setup goes for both of these players heading into our game 3, and who is going to come out on top here potentially in this match. I think we have more than enough time to hopefully conclude this match. Let's take a look at our prize cards and hope there's nothing too detrimental in there.
The Dragonite in the prize cards, and he also plays the Hawlucha. Hawlucha, flying entry, such a big card. Again, I mentioned earlier, hey, now that 260 HP is not reachable, I was wrong. It is, again.
It's reachable. I know, we need to look at these deck lists a little harder here. Hawlucha is, in the deck. Well, right now it's in the prize cards, but is in the deck, so that does open up some options for sure. As we saw in our games before, Hawlucha has been kind of an MVP so far in our stream matches, at least. Battle VIP Pass coming down quickly here for Sujith, and we are kicking off our game 3 here in our Swiss round 6. Both of these players sitting at 5-0 records, and both of them looking to get into a 6-0 here in Pittsburgh. Let's see who is able to do that, Wancho. Radiant Greninja coming out onto the field, as well as a Comfey with that Battle VIP Pass. Sableye was our active starting Pokemon for Sujith.
Again, this is Sujith's first time to go first in this in this match, so this should be very big for sure. Concealed cards, again, drawing them 2 more. Looks like they do have a switch, so they will be able to get at least 1 card into the Lost Zone. The goal again is to get into 7 at the very, hopefully 7 by turn 2. Again, I'm still hoping for that Moonlight Shuriken because that's just such a big play. But maybe Zeryx can finally find themselves that Manaphy that's been hiding in both games.
Yeah. Where is it? I don't know. All right, here's our 1 card going into the Lost Zone here. I didn't see what it was. It's a stadium of some sort. I see the green.
More importantly, it's only 1 card in the Lost Zone, though. Let's see Zeryx, if they have anything else. I believe they only have an Ultra Ball and a... Oh, no, they have a Battle VIP Pass. They're having a good time. Again, Battle VIP Pass, one of the most powerful cards to play on your first turn. Question is, what do you find? Do you find yourselves maybe Pidgey plus an Arceus, maybe Manaphy plus the Arceus, maybe Charmander plus the Arceus, but it has to be Arceus, right? We've seen how important that card is.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to get evolved into that as soon as possible to kind of start your chain reaction of this deck. I feel like when I think of Charizard EX as a deck, that's a word that just continuously comes to mind for me, is just chaining things together, right? Yes. You do back-to-back moves that all flow well into each other, but you have to get that initial setup in order to get there into those evolutions that unlock those abilities that allow you to chain those moves as well. So Charmander, baby Charmander, just going to get a little fire energy there into an Ultra Ball, discarding a Charizard EX. I think this is 3 games in a row. Charizard EX has hit the discard pile like first turn, as well as a fire energy.
I feel like you only really need one in this matchup. So
yeah, easy discard if you have better options in hand. And that's going to allow Zeryx to search out another Pokemon, any Pokemon here, but it's going to be that Pidgey coming out of the deck and onto the field.
Yeah, so right now, this is the perfect field for Zeryx. First time again to have both those little baby Pokemon, but with the Manaphy protecting them.
Yes, that's huge.
Curious if they are going to Iona refill the hand. I like how you mentioned, when you think of Charizard, it's a chain reaction, because that's exactly what it is, right? You use Starbirth to evolve your Pidgeot, and you use your Pidgeot to try and evolve your Charizard, and your Charizard powers back your Arceus.
Yeah.
So
and then your Arceus can power back another Arceus, right? That's what we saw in the last game.
Synergy.
Synergy, yes. Well, Iona is going to draw new hands for both of these players, and their former hands going to the bottom of the deck. It's just going to be a pass now with a very established board here from Zeryx. Now we're over onto Sujith's side. Let's see what can happen on this turn 2 for Sujith. Radiant Greninja going to start us off. That's going to be a discard of the Lightning Energy into 2 more cards. Another Mirage Gate and another Lightning Energy. But honestly, the cards in hand...
We're missing a certain scientist here, I believe. And
Who's that?
let's see if we can find it off this one flower selecting.
Is going to find another Comfey and decide to Lost Zone that Psychic Energy here.
That means there's still a chance. There's 2 cards now in the Lost Zone. I'm sure Sujith was thinking, if they got more on the first turn, something that could have been possible is maybe attack with the Sableye this turn. And again, Pidgey and Charmander, they both only have 60 HP. Is the flower selecting done? Do we find ourselves a scientist?
I did not see what the 2 cards are. That have been drawn here.
If it wasn't immediately added to the hand, you just have to think one of them
it's definitely
was not
that.
Yeah.
Definitely not that. But it looks like there's some debate here. So glancing at the hand to see what to put into the Lost Zone, looks like another energy, and I think an escape rope is what's being debated right now. Again, with these Lost Box decks, you have so many. Oh, it's a switch card. Okay. Switch card and then a water energy was being debated. Switch card's going to the Lost Zone, but it looks like a very difficult decision here for Sujith. You have to keep track of all of your resources when you're playing any sort of Lost Box deck, and that is what we see Sujith doing here, being very cautious with all of these plays. Manaphy's going to join us on the field here. We're going to see that hard retreat. Comfey back to the bench. Manaphy being pulled up into the active here, and it's just going to be a pass. This is not where you want to be when you're a Turbo Lost Box deck.
Yeah, again, normally Turbo Lost Box, you have so many options. But Sujith just didn't have anything. Just forced to retreat back into retreat into the Manaphy. And that's it, as Zeryx now has the world. They have Pidgeot EX with the quick search ability. Find any 1 card from your deck. You can find yourself an Arceus, then find yourself 2 cards after that. Even have the chorus.
And the chorus. Ooh, it hurts, Wancho. It hurts to see. I mean, unless you're the Charizard player, right? Chorus is going to allow Zeryx to get some cards into the Lost Zone, but also just draw all those cards to hand, which means you're drawing into whatever you draw randomly out of the deck, which allows you to pick and choose what you then take off of your things like Quick Search and with your V-Star power as well. So you're thinning things out and making those decisions from there. So Quick Search, this is not just an ability used once like that V-Star power. This is every single turn. You can use it back to back to back. Of course, you can only use it once per turn, but that gets you so much. You unlock an incredible amount of cards here, and that's what we're seeing, this chain reaction. Starbirth now being activated off of the Arceus V-Star that was sought out with the Quick Search, which is going to search out 2 more cards, Rare Candy into Charizard EX, and things are happening. Going into the deck with the Charizard EX off of that Infernal Rain. Now you see why this Charizard EX deck has been so hyped up in our meta.
It's a real deck, right? When things go right, things go really, really right.
It feels good, I'm sure.
Now you have access to the world. You have so much energy in play. Your Arceus is about to power up your other Arceus as well with the Trinity Nova attack. And what more can you ask for? You can even start finding disruption every turn now with your PGR. You can Iono almost every turn if you have it. I'm very, very curious now for how Sujith is going to maneuver this position. It's not over yet, but there's a lot of big Pokemon in your way.
Yeah, it's not over, but Zeryx has now taken the first prize card here. Going to be that Super Rod taken off of the prize cards. We're back over to Sujith, but it's just wild, Wancho. Like, I have not played Charizard EX. Like, I haven't played it yet, but I've watched it, and it just seems to go from, like, oh, your deck is so vulnerable and can get targeted so easily, and then you can't set up anything. But then once you're set up, it looks so vicious down on the field. You have all of those barricades that your opponent has to get through. Bulky Pokemon, searches every single turn to lock things up, and then it's really just a timer set on you to be able to catch up after that. And unfortunately, Sujith is playing a Turbo Lost Box deck, but it has not been going too turbo so far. We're only at 3 cards. 2 are about to join us in the Lost Zone here for Sujith. Just making that decision here off of this Colress's Experiment.
Yeah, again, at least they were able to find the Colress Experiment that turn. 5 cards now in the Lost Zone. They could still potentially get to 7. I think what they want to do is just start Lost Mining. They need to set up damage on the board for your Pokemon V to start clearing out, right? Something Sujith does have access to is the Sky Seal Stone. I have to mention that once again. They could potentially take a 3 prize turn, followed by a 2, and then take a knockout on the Manaphy. That could be the goal here, because again, it's your prize mapping has to be on point, especially when you're facing this deck right now.
Yeah.
Big escape rope here, though. Let's see what Zeryx opts to send out. Again, Pidgeot EX does have free retreat. They could send out the Arceus, but then Dragonite could knock it out. It looks like it's going to be the Charizard.
Charizard EX joining us in the active position. Off of that escape rope, Sujith, of course, sending up another Comfey to be able to flower select another card into the Lost Zone. Looks like a Mirage Gate as one of the options here. I didn't see the other card. Did you, Ancho?
I just saw the Mirage Gate as well, but that's the one that gets sent to the Lost Zone.
I know, which one was kept?
It was an ordinary rod.
A
Super Rod.
No, Super Rod, yeah.
Yeah, Super Rod again. Very important card to refill your resources.
Yeah.
But what do they do this turn? Do they have at least a Cramorant to split damage on the Charizard? That would be pretty big. Right now, 7 cards in the Lost Zone. They could even Mirage Gate into the Greninja and just hit 90 on the Charizard. That's a thing as well.
It's tough because there's so many cards in hand right now for Sujith. It's just going to come down to what does Sujith choose, like which route does he choose to go, and which way does he choose to sequence it? Gonna start with this Nest Ball, though, allowing you to search out a basic Pokemon.
Let's see what they opt to find.
Let's see what's in there. I think the only Pokemon I saw in the hand already was the Raikou. Cramorant's being brought to the front here, as we talked about earlier, Wancho, and that's going to be the pull here out of the deck onto the field.
110 damage on the Charizard. That is something. That's
something, yeah.
you need every little bit of damage, right? Again, Dragonite's just so important to be able to start swinging, but even then, the fact that there's an Arceus with 3 energy plus the Pidgeot, that means we can find a choice belt whenever we want. Things are still things are so scary. I don't know what path Sujith can really go. And attacking with a Cramorant, 110, still pretty good. Zeryx could still find themselves the Radiant Serena if they choose to do so. So these little small pings of damage aren't going to stick. And here we go. We can see the town store, not shopping mall, town store. A little bit smaller there. Look at that. It's big, though. It's a shopping mall.
It actually does look really big, yeah.
It's able to find themselves any tool, and it's going to be the Forest Seal Stone on the Raikou. That's a huge liability. Raikou only has 200 HP. An Arceus V-Star does 200 damage.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there is no nerf there. Raikou V joining us. It does get the Forest Seal Stone that was I think it was just in the hand, right? It wasn't searched out from the town store. But it's going to be used, that Forest Seal Stone. So Sujith is going to be able to use that V-Star power, Star Alchemy going into the deck here for any one card. And it looks like just that Escape Rope right off the top here.
Interesting. Escape Rope is the choice. Like, I wonder what Sujith would rather hit into. Maybe, I'm sure they'd like to take a knockout of Manaphy, potentially. Maybe hit into one of the Arceus.
Arceai. No.
But yeah, it's, again, Escape Rope. Very interesting choice. Oh, maybe they didn't have a switch option. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be...
There's so many cards in hand.
I know.
It's going to be a rope. Of course, Zeryx gets to choose who comes into the active position off of this Escape Rope. As we've seen time and time again here, Arceus V-Star going to come back up into the active, though, for Zeryx. Sujith switching into this Raikou that has that Forest Seal Stone attached. Going to at least get, what, Fleet-Footed. Don't forget, Fleet-Footed. Come on. All right, we do have an energy attachment.
They want
here.
a Mirage Gate first to make sure that the energy's in the deck, and then you Fleet-Foot it. Because you don't want to draw into the energy.
Yeah, that would be horrible, actually.
Yeah, this is
folks.
just damage, though. And then you're giving up 2 prizes to do how much damage here?
Oh, we're adding up the bench here.
It's around
Lightning Rondo
200.
Yeah, so it does 20 base and then 20 more for each bench Pokemon on both player sides of the field here. So, yep, sequencing well. They're getting that Mirage Gate to get those energy out of the deck onto those Pokemon. Radiant Greninja got an energy lined up there as well. Fleet-Footed is going to be utilized here. Just an extra card draw here for Sujith off of that ability. And yeah, it's just going to be damage for sure. I mean, does that add up to enough? I don't think so. There's no way.
Yeah, no, it's 200 damage. If there was maybe a boss's orders, you could knock out Pidgeot. It is weak to lightning, but I'm pretty sure they already used the Chorus Experiment this turn.
Yes.
It is 200 damage. I'm sure maybe they're trying to bait into the Pidgeot, right? The Escape Rope into a free retreat. Sometimes it's such an automatic.
220 because the base, right?
It is.
It's 220. All right. Oh, okay. So Choice Belt coming down onto Zeryx's side of the field here into a Super Rod as well. Lost Ordinary Rod, but got the Super Rod, allowing you to choose 3 of any combination Pokemon and energy cards, basic energy, and shuffle them back into your deck.
Yep. Let's see. What did they opt to put back? Maybe they put back energy.
I think it was 2 fire energy and a Pokemon.
Yeah, to be able to, again, you have Arceus in play. You want to accelerate that energy. And let's see what else they do. I'm pretty sure the damage should be at 200. It's 9 Pokemon times 280 plus that base 20. Should be 200. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay.
I questioned my math there for a second. It's been a minute.
There you go, Wancho. You're on point today. 200. They just
assumed everyone had a full bench.
Yes, that must have been it. But we're good here. It's just going to be an Iono here for Zeryx.
Iono again. Still, both players still have a healthy amount of prize cards. I mean, Zeryx going to draw 5. Sujith's going to draw 6. Still all good there. But again, Zeryx can still get anything they want from the deck there. Not sure what else you need. They could potentially save the Arceus V-Star. Potentially, but again, it has 80 HP left. There's a Sableye. There's no way you can protect this Arceus. Oh, you can find yourself a Serena. Maybe force more damage force more damage counters onto the Arceus. Oh, no, it's going to be Pidgeot into another Arceus V-Star.
Bulking up those Pokemon here, increasing those HP numbers, adding some more blockades, and it's plenty of damage here to knock out that Raikou V. So Sujith put that down, did some damage with it, could not take a knockout.
Yeah.
And now 2 prize cards have been taken off of it, just as you said, Wancho. Unfortunate turn of events here. Zeryx has jumped forward so much in this matchup, and it just seems like Sujith has not had any sort of explosive turns so far in this game. But we're going to go back to Sujith's turn. just having to choose what to promote here and where to go from here, Wancho. I mean, that is a scary-looking board state that Sujith is eyeing down.
The Manaphy must be so confused. All its little buddies now have 330 HP and 280. It was just a minute ago. It was protecting 60 HP Pokemon from a scary Greninja, and now they're all big.
They can protect themselves.
Yeah, it's a very tough spot, especially without the Sky Seal Stone as well. Sujith essentially needs to take 2 prize knockouts basically every turn, and I don't think that's possible.
No way, there's no way. Unless there's something I'm not seeing, Wancho.
I mean, they could, if there's a Charmander in the discard pile, Echoing Horn. Sableye can take 2 with the Manaphy, then Dragonite to take a knockout on the Arceus eventually.
We're going to see a flower selecting Pokegear being put into the hands. Lost Vacuum going into the Lost Zone. Our Lost Zone is finally there, Wancho. It has taken plenty of turns, but we are at 10 now. Unlocking the Lost Mine on that Sableye, but is it too late here in the matchup? We are going to see that pivot with the switch cart out of that Comfey into the Sableye that is now online here for Sujith.
I'm trying to think here what they could do here. Knock out the Manaphy. And then, knock out the Arceus.
Yeah, the Arceus V-Star had tons of damage there. At least going to be 2 prize cards there that Sujith will be taking, just deciding where to put the other damage counters now on the field.
Yeah, I was thinking, right, you take a knockout on the Manaphy using the Sableye, and if you have something like an Echoing Horn, then you can Radiant Greninja the Arceus plus whatever they have on the bench.
No Echoing
Horn.
No Echoing Horn in the list.
But, yeah, and even then, that was a very long shot of a play.
Yeah.
Let's see what Zeryx can do here. Again, they have Nest Ball. There it is, the Radiant Serena.
Yeah, and that is the downfall for sure for damage counters that are being laid out. You know, it's only 120 damage, 12 damage counters being laid out onto the field. And when you start spreading them out, they can just start ticking down with that elegant heal from the Radiant Serena, that Radiant Pokemon coming in very clutch here for Zeryx, and we have seen Iono after Iono over and over again for Zeryx. You see that strategy play out, the disruption and the blockades that you put in front of your opponent with your board states. Then we have that quick search every single turn to get whatever card you want out of your deck. It is looking very strong here. It's Sujith being put down to just 4 cards, and everything that was in the hand is now at the bottom of the deck as well. Luckily, one of those cards is a Colress, so hopefully we can see some things rolling here. But now that Sableye is being taken off the field, another prize card for Zeryx. That means only 2 prize cards left to take, and Sujith has so many obstacles in the way.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think here. How can he take 2 prizes again this turn? And it's not a possibility, in my opinion. Again, there's a Pidgeot on the bench. You could eventually try and power up Raikou, go for a boss's orders, potentially. That's a 2 prize route, but the minute you drop the Raikou, you're giving up 2 prizes, and you can't afford to do that. Maybe if you had at least 1 more turn, there is a possibility. But right now, they're grabbing themselves a Sableye. Oh, no, they're shuffling back in a Sableye and a couple of energies. But what can you do from here? And Sableye, you could potentially knock out a Manaphy. Then your opponent still have to take 3 prize cards. Let's see what else they can do. Yeah, I think they're just trying to clarify. It was
what was being played there. Yeah, the Super Rod was being played, but the Colress's experiment was sitting on the top of the discard, so I think they're just clarifying what's happening right now.
It's interesting. I don't think I've ever discarded to the bottom of my discard pile, but
I don't even know how that happened, to be honest.
Maybe they played it and then they went through their discard pile, right?
Yes. Or they played it down and then yeah, that's probably
you play it down
and
then
they
you
just put it back on top. Yeah, like they played it next to it and then they just stacked it, slid it back over. That could have happened.
There's something what I always do. Sometimes I just randomly shuffle if I'm holding a stack of
cards. Shuffle your discard pile. Oh, that's funny. All right, here we go. We see a Colress's experiment hit that lost zone. We do have the switch card in hand that allows for another flower selecting, though. That's going to be some more options here. It's going to be the Sableye versus the Nest Ball, but that Sableye is definitely a hot commodity here. Does not want to be in the lost zone for sure. Sableye coming back down onto the field, straight into Mirage Gate, allowing Sujith to search out 2 energy. I believe this is the last 2 that we see in the deck, at least for now.
Oh, they're running out of resources.
Yeah,
too.
unless we see some more shuffling back in from the discard pile with some more Super Rod action here. But yeah, it's just going to be that water energy attached to the Comfey for the retreat pivot. And the Sableye is now geared up with a Psychic energy, so it's back onto the field, back in action with that Lost Mine. But that Radiant Serena is the mortal enemy right now of this Sableye.
Yeah, I don't even know where you put the damage here. You take the knockout potentially on the Manaphy. Try and set up maybe in the knockout on the Charizard. The most ideal thing I can think of is you set up the damage on the Charizard, knock out the Charizard in some way, maybe with the Dragonite, but we know it's prized, and then hope that the Choice Belt's prized. Only way out I could think of. But yeah, it looks like it is just going to be a knockout on the Manaphy.
Did they just run out of time? Is that what they were talking about? I see the timer's at 0.
Yeah, Sujith could be turn 0 here. And, but yeah, Zeryx should be able to close the game out in 2 turns potentially. Let's see.
Again, this is Zeryx's turn 1. So,
yes.
Yep, good to go.
So they can take their time here. No need to rush it. We have to make sure we just make all the right plays, I think. One way Sujith could try and force out the draws, maybe boss up the Serena, and maybe not having a way to retreat could be a thing. But let's see here.
That's true. I mean, Manaphy's gone now, so Radiant Greninja is there, but there's no energy, at least at this point in time. I think there's another Super Rod in the deck,
but even Radiant Greninja, it doesn't even take a knockout on the Serena.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the way out is here.
Again, it's literally, I think it's just a boss stall to tie.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right about that one.
Yeah, Zeryx, all they have to do is just attack twice and they win. And they have multiple ways to attack. They have access to just getting whatever they want from the deck. They even got the Manaphy back.
Yeah, the Super Rod brought back 2 fire energy and the Manaphy that is being sought out of the deck from that quick search off of the Pidgeot EX.
I guess maybe just making sure they can't even use Kyogre for just in case.
I mean, yeah, that's.
Yeah, there it is. That's
I guess.
just burning darkness there onto the Sableye. I'm sure more than enough damage. And this is Sujith's last turn. If there's a miracle that they can pull out, if there's a play they can do here, I'd love to know. Again, maybe just boss's orders. The Serena, that's all I can see. But do they even play a boss's orders? They play one. There it is, boss on the Serena. Question is the switch card still in the deck?
All right, that's going to be it. It's just that boss's orders played. There's the switch, and that is it. Unfortunately, Sujith tried to pull out all the stops there, but it is going to be Zeryx Schaefer who takes the win with Charizard EX. Kind of a grindy end there to that game. A little bit anticlimactic, I suppose, because unfortunately, Sujith just kind of ran out of options, ran out of steam in that late game, had kind of an awkward start to the entire 3rd game that we saw. Could not pull it out, and Zeryx is going to be our winner here. Going to 6-0 with Charizard EX.
Oh, Charizard EX winning against Lost Box. Words I didn't think I would say.
That is very true. On paper, like, the matchup looks positive for Lost Box, for sure, but...
Ooh, remember in game 2 when we thought this could be it. If Sujith wins, he wins the entire match. But again, Zeryx was able to identify early concession game 1 and was able to bring it back just in time too, right? Literally, the timing was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we saw that very, very quick scoop there from Zeryx. It was pretty much as soon as the Manaphy was in the prize cards and that knockout had happened there from Sujith, from the Cramorants. It was just a quick scoop, and I'm sure Sujith was feeling good.
Yeah.
I mean, to start out with such a quick win and still have another game to go, but things just did not go his way after that. Game 2 took it to a tie between both of these players, and then it came down all the way to time in our Game 3 between them as well.
And just enough time as well. Again, you only get 2 extra turns at time. Zeryx just happened to need 2 more prizes to win that game, so it ended up working perfectly. And here we see the Arceus V-Star, where it all began, finding themselves the chain reaction, like you said, find themselves the Charizard EX, which powers up the Arceus, and then the Arceus powers up another Arceus. A lot of energy off the V-Star power.
Yeah, you thin so much out of your deck within like 3 moves that you make. That's pretty wild.
And here we do see Sujith taking a knockout on the Arceus V with the Dragonite. If I remember right, off the Iono after that, they were able to find themselves the Choice Belt to get the return KO. Because if they weren't able to get the return KO here,
yeah, that would have been detrimental.
That would have been game here. And yeah.
That's exactly, I mean, when it happened, that's exactly what you said, Wancho. Like, that was the card that needed to be found, and it was there, that Choice Belt, allowing for the return KO, taking out the Dragonite V, and everything from there really fell for Sujith in that second game between our players.
Yeah, big Choice Belts, big explosion there, taking that knockout, then followed by the boss's orders just for safety, taking knockout on that save line. I want to do the calculations of the damage there as well. I believe that's like 480, maybe, no?
Oh my goodness.
Maybe 540, give or take.
Sheesh, that is a lot. Well, don't ask me about math, Wancho. We saw how my math went with the Raikou. But yeah, both of these players tied it up in our Game 2. Zeryx returning and taking a win there, and it all came down to that Game 3. But Charizard EX is what we're going to see come out on top. Go to a 6-0 record after that game, and that is incredible to see. Could Zeryx be the person identifying the way to play Charizard EX? Maybe this list is refined enough to pilot it into a fantastic finish in Pittsburgh.
Oh no, Boo. I can already see all the Shaymins and the superior V-Stars.
Leafeon, yeah.
And we're about to see in the future, maybe.
Hey, it's about time some grass Pokemon joined us again in this meta. Now,
how weird is it to say, though, that you're teching in a grass Pokemon to knock out Charizard. Of all things?
Yeah, that is definitely a weird one. That is not what I expected for sure. That would be the reason that